Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today's one is very damn exciting. Blizzard have pushed the initial version of patch 7.2 to the public test realm. They've also posted some notes, and fan sites have data mined quite a lot of interesting information. Unfortunately though, the server has kind of had to go down for maintenance for quite a while. They had some stability issues, so right now that's really all that we have to talk about. First though, many have been impressed that patch 7.2 has hit the PTR so soon after the release of 7.1.5 and the Nighthold. This is in line with Blizzard's goal for this expansion. They want a steady stream of content, and a part of that does involve having almost constant uptime for the PTR servers. The initial build though of the patch, well, it doesn't have that much content. It's mainly sort of there for stability reasons and to test out some specific features. However, there is some exciting news. They have confirmed that raid testing is quite a while off, so if you're doing Nighthold progression, don't worry, you should be safe, especially with the Mythic race kicking off on Tuesday. Overall, I would expect this patch to come out in around 3 to 4 months from now. Do note that the patch's raid will not open on day one of the patch. It's a bit like with Trial of Valor, the raid will probably open a few weeks after, so you will probably have more than enough time to enjoy the Nighthold. Still though, I'm very happy to see Blizzard have such a content-rich patch cycle. I've already seen some people complaining about there being too much, but I think they're underestimating how long the PTR will take. This is a major patch, it will require a lot of testing. Plus, I think the only thing that you can have too much of in a way is raid content. There's no way that somebody who is consistently logging in to do world content really has much to do right now since the initial release of the game, so I don't think 7.2's release will have problems for really that many players as far as like there being too much content, and let's be real, it's a pretty good problem to have. Okay, first I'm going to cover the data mining, then I'll go through the kind of more official notes and stuff from Blizzard and bring you the new information from that. So we have some new currencies that have been added into the game. These actually suggest a more granular way to earn gear, which I think is really awesome. The first one is Fell Essence. It could be to do with crafting. It says it's used to create armor of great power. Now that could be maybe a legendary crafting system, hard to know, but there are also Echoes of Battle and Echoes of Domination, which are used to purchase PvP gear. So finally, it would seem purely random PvP gear might actually be at an end. On the topic of class mounts, we've known, of the existence of class mounts since BlizzCon, but the good people at Wowhead have data mined and screenshotted many of them. It's great to see that there's loads of color variants of the mounts based on what spec you are. Also, a number of boss models have been data mined from the Tomb of Sargeras raid, as well as a model for Anduin in disguise, which somewhat indicates he's going to be playing a narrative role in the patch, which I think is quite good. I generally don't like the character, but I'd like to see where they go with him now that he's been maybe pushed to the limit a bit. And they've also updated some ghouls and given us a new model for Gallywix that actually reflects his art. Druids also have a new Guardian artifact form that's basically a big Hulk bear. So that's pretty cool. Now let's cover the content that's being included in this build and what we can learn from it. One really unexpected thing is that Hunters, Balanced Druids, and Death Knights are going to have some new spell animations. I think this is great. It's one of the first things I'll be testing when the servers come back online. I think Hunters are basically the worst looking class, especially with the new melee update, so I'm super hyped to see what they do there. As far as world content goes, they've added new reps for the patch. One new rep that's like the, Legion Fall or whatever, but they've also added a Paragon level for all of the other reps, and I think Paragon is kind of just one past Exalted. This indicates that we'll see new reputation rewards and new reputation content. I'm very happy to see this because really 7.0 was lacking in good quality rep-based content. One of the data mined reps was actually for Stormwind, so I'd be really excited to see them sort of do something with the player factions. Also, demon invasions are the only thing that they're really initially putting a big focus on the testing for. Basically, they're like the pre-expansion event, but the Legion will invade a Broken Isle zone that will suspend all the current world quests and replace them with new invasion ones. After you do the invasion, you can then head up to a scenario that is on the Legion battleship, and you can take down the battleship, so that sounds pretty awesome. World quest wise, they've actually increased the gear cap to a base item level of 860, up from 845, which makes sense given the overall increased item level of the patch. As far as dungeons and raids go, well, heroic and mythic dungeons are being scaled up in terms of reward and gear. It should feel the same to you to play mostly as it does now. It's just being done to sort of keep it relevant against the other content of the patch. Random heroics will have a new minimum item level of 825. They're also actually adding Archway, Court of Stars, Lower Karazhan, and Upper Karazhan to the heroic dungeon list for this version of the PTR, which is pretty cool too, and I assume that'll all make it into live. As far as professions go, Obliterum gear has been changed. First, everyone has a forge. Second, crafted gear, and like for free, crafted gear will have a base item level of 835 now, which will make it more competitive with gear from other forms of content. If you've got existing gear between 815 and 830, it will stay as it is now, but your first application of Obliterum will bring the item up to 840. And then finally, the Obliterum cap will be 875. Now, some Profession World quests will also give you a skill point, and Nomi will now provide you with prepared ingredients as a part of his work orders, which can be combined to create up to 10 servings of a random recipe that you know. Finally, Archaeology will now give you artifact power, and also the archaeology-related mobs are multi-person tappable, and there are new elite dig sites, which I'm pretty keen to check out too. As far as the UI goes, there's a new transmog set window, which will help you sort of track what tier sets you've got. Set tokens will now generate a bit of gear for your loot spec when they're right-clicked, which is quite handy if you're doing old raids and things like that. They also have a new iteration of tab targeting. I really hope this is better than what they have at the minute, so I'm kind of keen to see if that increases the playability of the game. Also, the default mailbox UI finally has an open all feature. Took them 12 years to add that, but I'm glad it's here. There are also some visual improvements to the spellbook, and they have iterated on the quick join feature. Now, there is some exciting news for the pet battlers. The pet battle dungeon, I think the quest from it is got at the pet battle vendor in Dalaran, but that is up for testing now, so I'll have to get a pretty decent squad ready to test that out. But that is overall what we know currently for the patch 7.2 PTR. I would say 3 to 4 months off, we're already seeing some nice hints as to what the full content will be in relation to those currencies. Some, it's nice to see those mounts in better detail, I suppose, and just lots of good details and information. I'm particularly interested to see if they manage to differentiate those Legion invasions from the ones in the pre-patch so that they actually feel like a different, new, and fresh bit of content. And I'm certainly excited to see what it's like to raid a Legion battleship. I think that'll be quite cool. Also, there were data mine strings, which are kind of spoilery about the new class order hull campaign stuff, so I'm not going to cover them in this video, but that is there if you want to go and look for it. Anyway, guys, that's it for 7.2. There will be loads of gameplay videos on the channel over the coming days as I cover the content. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.